Well, so what else do you know about Africa? Well, today we go behind the headlines and talk about why My Africa Is, a documentary series that takes you on a journey across the continent through the eyes of an insider. To tell us more about it, I'm joined by Nozareme Garrick, the founder of My Africa Is. Nozareme, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you for having me.
First, just share with us very briefly how this idea was born.
So the idea behind My Africa Is really was to change the narrative that we've seen permeating about the African continent. I myself am Nigerian and moved to the US and found that a lot of people that I met when I moved here had no idea about the African continent, had a lot of preconceived notions that were absolutely false, and a story that's been told since the 60s.
Yes.
And we felt it was time to update that story, especially through video form, so the individuals could not only hear about it, but actually see it.
Now, there's one story that you've featured, and we have a video of that. And tell us why you thought this is one story that is important for the rest of the world to see. This is from Lagos, actually, on recycling.
Yes, so the story I believe you're speaking about is Bilikis Adebi Abiola's story about WeCyclers. And the WeCyclers is an initiative that she took on, which was to change the way people were recycling, there wasn't really a culture of recycling in Lagos. And there's just been so much trash everywhere that people just feel they can throw, and it's raising a new consciousness about reusing and recycling waste and keeping our gutters clean, because as you know, there have been floods that have come about from clogged gutters. And the reason why we thought it was interesting and important to tell the story is because this is not a story that's singular to Nigeria. It's a story that you could see in Ghana, in Senegal, all across the African continent, where trash is not properly disposed of and recycled.
But again, here is also being told from that perspective that there are Africans and many times young people who are actually doing things to change the environment, to change their countries, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we wanted to break away from the idea that we're victims in our homes, and actually we are very innovative, we're very enterprising, and I think it was time that we started hearing some of those stories.
You did a story that trended big time. This is about a young Nigerian girl who flies. Tell us very briefly about this girl and how you got to know about her.
Well, Kimberly Anyadike is who you're talking about, and she was a 15-year-old girl that flew from Compton to the east coast of the country, and she was the youngest person to have achieved that. She was actually in the U.S., but she is of Nigerian descent, and you know, Africans do make up part of the American narrative as well, so we wanted to include that, and everyone loved the story, and it just shows you that there's a thirst for these types of stories.
I think it's tweeted like, what, 4,000 something within no time. Hey, our kids also fly.
Absolutely.
In the United States.
Absolutely.
That is cool. What is in the pipeline?
We just came back from filming in Nairobi, Kenya last month. And so we'll be releasing that on PBS in February of 2016.
And eventually, I mean, are you going to just be telling these stories exclusively to American audiences, or is it also something you want other African audiences to share?
Historically, our stories have been told online, so we have a global audience. This will be our first foray into broadcast, American broadcast. And what we're hoping is that it will see global distribution as well, because it's not just something the Americans need to hear about, it's something the world needs to know. Okay,
how do you cover this? Do you have correspondent, or do you just travel everywhere?
I travel.
You travel everywhere.
I travel with the crew, we capture these stories,
That's a good job, really impressive. So you're going to feature my show one time and just tell people what we do here?
Absolutely. Yeah? It's just as important.
It is important. Very important. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nozareme, and I wish you well in all your endeavors.
Thank you.
Well, Nozareme Garrick is the founder of My Africa Is, a documentary series that takes you on a journey across the continent through the eyes of an insider.